alternate picking / speed picking. This is a CVT guitar lesson. For Mark, we've talked actually quite an extent about this, and I've heard you play. You're a good player, man. You're just having trouble with speeding things up, and it's one of the things that most rock and metal guitar players, students that I've taught, have struggled with and wanted to work on. So I've given you several different examples, some using some techniques involved, so it's not just so mechanical. All the fingering's written, the pick directions, of course, and I'm going to give you some hints along the way. I've got 8 different examples. The first 2, then I know they can get boring. They're 2 finger exercises, and I know tons of them. These 2 I still use to this day, and they're good to get you going. And what I did was emphasizing on 2 strings, so you don't have to be concerned with hitting a whole bunch of strings in this. The idea is, if you can get used to the alternate picking with a couple strings, that you'll be able to apply it to multiple strings. Okay, so just working in smaller and then getting bigger with them. So the first one on the top of page 2 is, it's probably not the one you think. Everyone knows the 1, 2, 3, 4, but these are a little more interesting. 4E with the pinky, 3A third finger, 2E with the middle finger, 1A with the index. And obviously the idea here, we're talking about speed picking and alternate picking and speeding things up. We want to alternate pick, so it's straight alternate, down up, down up. Once you get the subgroup, which that's a subgroup or a pattern or a concept, you can stick on it, play it several times, or go to the next step of this. In the tabs, you're looking at that 4-note pattern, just moving chromatically or a half step at a time up the neck till we get to fret 12. Obviously you can go as far as you want, you can use all the strings, but for the sake of the lesson, you know, you got to have it written to know what to work on. So you would take it and move it up to the 5th fret now. When you pick, one area that people struggle is they're holding too tight. Little things like changing up the picks that you use. I use 88 millimeters, sometimes 72s or 73s. I like a little flex in it. We're all different. I'm sure you've already eliminated that and you found what you're comfortable with, but just be aware of it. And we start slow because we're looking for a clean sound. So, matter of fact, playing it on an acoustic or a clean channel is very helpful too. And we just move it up in 4-note increments. Don't overshoot with the pick hand. And that's where I stopped it in your tabs. You know, like I said, if you go clean, you'll hear if there's a mistake, right? So I'm not overshooting with the pick hand. It's comfortable when I'm doing it. You know, I'm popping the outsides of the strings. You can move the pattern anywhere. Alright, so that's a good start point for you to work on. The next one is an 8-note pattern, and the last one we did I would call a 4-note pattern. This one, a little tougher really to memorize, but you can do it on any of the strings with any of these. And this one, we're going to use string 6, the low E. Standard tuning, by the way. Open, straight alternate pick, so we're going to start with an open, low E, downstroke, 2nd fret up, just alternate. 1st fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret. You want to memorize that, visualize it, try and get it in your mind's eye, so to speak. So here's the pattern. Once you see that, and your fingers start to get the muscle memory going, then you move that up. Well, you can go on all strings or just move up 1 string. And I just wrote that rather than use a page and a half. I'll just say it. You memorize the pattern, move it up or through all the strings. Okay, I'm not lifting my fingers too far off the neck because I know I got to come right back. So I'm keeping them close in relativity to where they're going. And that happens when the muscle memory starts to kick in as well. So that's, I only showed you 2 of those. Like I said, I still use them, man, to this day. It's a good, kind of simple way to get, you know, limbered up. So number 2, I got 2 finger exercises and Yeah, number 1, number 2, and then number 3 is working on a single string. And I didn't want to give you stuff covering all 6 strings, although we do some stuff you'll see towards the end here where we're going to incorporate more strings. I'd rather you focus on the technique without having to feel overwhelmed. So on this one, high E string is the string I picked. They're movable, they can go anywhere, but we're going to go 11, 12, 11, open, straight alternate pick, and really this is another 4-note concept, but the shapes are going to change. So we're going to end up going... It's going to be the whole thing. Alright, yeah, I'm doing it fast, but I want you to hear, you know, where it can go. Everything slowed down just sounds slow, right? So we want to focus, staying in tight quarters around the string. I would follow the fingering that I put in here, but we're going 11, 12, 11, open. We're going to do that concept again, just change up our frets. 8, 11, 8, open. And connect them. When you work on these marking your tabs, you don't have to run through the whole example. I actually would rather you take just one little subgroup of it, so you can just get used to it, and you can kind of get to the point where you can look at what this hand is doing with not having to worry about this. If you want to go 4 times on each, you know, but then it just grows each time. 7, 8, 7, open. And then I go back to 8, 11, 8, open. And I put double dots around it. I tried to make these like in a hook, you know, kind of a melodic form, so to speak. So you would go twice. And then to finish it off, we're taking that 4-note concept and we're just going to keep moving it down. 11, 12, 11, open. 8, 11, 8, open. 7, 8, 7, open. Now we're jumping into a new area. 5, 7, 5, open. 3, 5, 3, open. 2, 3, 2, open. Right? Work on the 4 notes and work on gradually picking up the speed. Work it up this way. And, you know, from there we just build other techniques off of it. Anyways, so many options with it. That's that one. And you know, end it with an E minor if you want. We're going. The reason I like to do that once in a while is because it'll so your ear will gravitate towards that key. And you know, I started that somewhere in the early 90s, but just as a reminder of key, hearing the chord behind it. So a little bit of ear stuff can go along with this. Top of page 3, number 4 is another E minor. I tried to keep most of them E minor, probably all of them. We'll have an A minor in one of these, but this one is, the first 4 notes are kind of like from a Paul Gilbert instruction video. It was about, you know, playing faster, speeding up your picking, and this one totally helped me, but I've done something different with it. Kind of made a groove out of it, and it'll go. Oops. And I want to explain some things in this. So it starts as a 4 pattern on the B string. We're going 7, 8, 10, and then an upstroke on the 7 high E. And I could have had the Paul Gilbert one will go. But I want you to emphasize on this upstroke, because that seems to be where people struggle, is when they transition from one string to the next when they're playing something fast. This will help you kind of zone in on it, I hope. Down, up, down, up. Kind of give it a snap. And you're going to do that twice. And then I did more of a pattern with it. 7, 8, 10 on the B. 7E, and we keep going. We're going to go descending. 10, 8, 7B, and then 9, 7, 9 on the G. So the whole thing's slow. Okay, maybe do it twice. I'm trying to make it rhythmic as well for you. And you can see when you watch this hand, I'm not picking too far. Everything's staying really close because I know I've got to, right after a down, I'm going to be doing an upstroke. So you can even work on it on the B string, going 7, 8, 10, down, up, down. Get used to the motion of it, right? Then throwing that up on the high E. Triple it. Alright, and like I said, obviously the thing's going to take time is building that speed up, but if you take these, practice them slowly, pull up a drum machine. I prefer those over a metronome. Metronomes, we all get kind of sick of them, but if you got a drum machine, cool, because you can mess with the tempo and keep track of your beats per minute, okay? And then once you do that, let's move it up to A minor. It's the same pattern, just to keep it fun and interesting. It's all the same though. It's 12, 13, 15 on the B this time, and then the up will be on the 12E. But the pattern's the same. So, thinking about not overpicking here, you got to think about that with your fret hand too. Keeping them close, as I was saying earlier, to the target note. But you're going to want to get to where it's solid, Mark, and then you got to push yourself to go, okay, I want to play this faster. And that's why I think a drum machine's a good idea. Or just, if you can do it on your own, that's fine. But where it starts to break down and get sloppy, you want to be aware of that and then keep hitting that area. All right, number 5 is the E minor, and I call this a 6 pattern, but they're like triplets, and it's on a 1 string, the high E. We're going to go 12, 14, 15 twice. All right, now, so it's straight alternate, but because we have an odd number, we wind up going down, up, down, up, down, up, which is why I wanted to show you this. It's not just down, up, down, down, up, down. You know, so. So what we're going to do, that's the pattern. Take that concept, which is a 6 pattern, move it to 14, 15, 17, and do it twice. Alright, so if you got it memorized, go back, play both those. Same thing, 15, 17, 19. Just remember it's your 3 dots. And once it's memorized, you know, as you're playing this, you can start seeing, oh, okay, I know where this index has to come up here. And then as you're doing that, oh, my index has to move here for the next grouping of 3, or 6, I should say. So just think of it that way. 17, 19, and 20. 19, 20, 22. So we have. And then we're going to bend the 22 whole step. Throw some vibrato on it if you can. Bending it a whole step, that's 2 frets. And then to finish it, 20, it's just a straight descending scale, 22, 20, and 19 on the E and B. And 21 G vibrato. Okay, we all have our point where it starts to get sloppy and break up, so memorize it. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Alright, top of page 4, we have a 6 pattern again, and this is more of the Paul Gilbert concept, but I'm using it all up and down the neck. As a matter of fact, this takes almost a whole whole page on this, but I want to really knock this concept home with you. So starting on the B string, 12th fret, we're going to go 12, 13, 15, up on 12E, down up 15, 13, B, double dots, so we're going to go twice. And that's the one that really helped me. Play it as many times as you want, but it was that up, right? Get a good snap. I'm not over picking. All the rest of these, if you can play that, you'll be able to play them here. It's the same two strings, but go 13, 15, 17. Or oops. And then 14 on the high E. And then 17, 15, B. You can experiment with fingering on that one too, so. Oops. From there, same concept, 15, 17, 19. So it's the dot.